Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another day of learning. We are your teachers today. I'm Miss Ashlee.
And I'm Miss Tekela. Get ready for another fun episode full of learning. In a few minutes, you will need a pencil or crayon and a sheet of paper. So go ahead and get that ready.
While you are gathering your materials, I want to share with you our focus standards for our lesson. They are R.I.K.1, 2, 4, and 7, W.K.2 and 8, SLK.1 and L.K.1.
Boys and girls, today we're going to learn more about the weather and the different seasons.
That's right, Miss Tekela. We are also going to talk about how weather affects our daily lives. And we are going to learn about a special tool used to measure the temperature.
Our pen pal friend Annie started teaching us about weather in the last episode. She wrote to us about the seasons and weather in Washington, D.C.
Today, we're going to talk more about winter. Do you remember anything Annie told us about winter?
Hey, Annie said it's cold in winter. Whew. She also wrote about animals who hibernate during the winter, which means they take a long nap until it warms up.
That's right. Remember, Annie told us that winter is the first season in the cycle of seasons.
Before we read our next letter from Annie, we need to go over some important vocabulary words that will help us understand what she has written.
Oh, just like how Annie taught us the word cycle in our last letter. What's our first word, Miss Tekela?
It looks like our first term is freezing point. Boys and girls, when we say what word that means, it's your turn to say the word back to us. Let's try it. The word is freezing point. What word? Yes, freezing point. The freezing point is the temperature at which water turns into a solid ice. Miss Ashlee, you take the next word.
Oh, so when the puddles outside freeze, that means that the temperature is at the freezing point. I've got one now. Our next word is blizzard. What word? Yes, blizzard. A blizzard is a severe snowstorm with lots of snow and lots of wind. In a blizzard, it's very difficult for people to walk and drive.
Wow, I think it stays too warm here for Mississippi to have a blizzard. Our next word is halt. What word? Yes, halt. Halt means to stop.
So if blizzards make it hard to see, then people will have to halt or stop their travel.
That's right. Scholars, our next word is cautiously. What word? Yes, cautiously. Cautiously means carefully. If there is ice on the sidewalk or steps, you need to walk very cautiously.
That's right. If there is ice, either halt or walk cautiously. Our next word is frigid. What word? Yes, frigid. Frigid means really cold. I like to stay inside when it feels frigid outside.
I wonder if Annie sees any blizzards in Washington, D.C.
Let's find out. Miss Tekela, will you read the letter from Annie today? I have a special task for our scholars listening.
Absolutely. What is the special task?
We know that winter is cold. Boys and girls, when you hear the word winter, you should pretend to shiver too. Let's practice. Winter. Okay, boys and girls, let's listen to Miss Tekela read Annie's letter, and we will shiver together anytime she mentions winter.
Dear kindergartners, hi from your pen pal Annie. In my last letter, I told you about the 4 seasons that occur in many parts of the United States: winter, spring, summer, and autumn. Today, I'm going to tell you about winter. What kind of things do you think of when I say the word winter? Snowmen, icicles. I'll tell you what I think of: cold. Winter is the coldest season of the year. In most of the United States, the shortest day of the year is on December 21st. It marks the beginning of winter. Winter also includes the months of January and February. It can get very cold in the winter in most of the United States. We can tell just how cold it is by using a tool called a thermometer. A thermometer measures temperature, which is a number we use to talk about how hot or cold it is. When it is hot outside, the liquid in the thermometer rises towards the top. When it is cold outside, the liquid in the thermometer stays down near the bottom. Another way that you can tell it's wintertime is by the way people are dressed. What are the people in the picture wearing that helps them stay warm in the winter? Winter clothing is made to protect you from the cold and to keep your body nice and warm while you spend time outside. Hats, mittens, and scarves help you to stay warm in the winter. It is usually cold during the winter where I live in Washington, D.C. Sometimes it even gets cold enough to snow. I wish it could snow every day, but the temperature must fall below freezing, below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, in order for it to snow. If the air between the clouds and the ground is below the freezing point, then instead of rain, snowflakes will probably fall. Some years, Washington, D.C. gets heavy snowstorms known as blizzards that bring city traffic to a halt and force the schools to close. There are other years when it only snows once or twice. This means that some winters are colder and snowier than others in Washington, D.C. What is it like during the winter where you live? Does it ever snow? When it snows, everyone works together to clear the snow. People use snow shovels, to shovel snow off walkways so that others do not slip and get hurt. In many places where it snows, snow plows get to work clearing the streets. The big plow on the front of the truck scrapes the snow and the ice from the streets. These trucks also carry salt or other chemicals which they spread on the roads as they pass. The salt chemicals melt the remaining ice and keep ice from forming, which makes the roads safer for people to drive their cars during the winter. People should always drive and walk slowly and cautiously or carefully in the snow. In the snow and ice are slippery, and whether you are walking or driving, you should use extra caution when the ground is covered with snow or ice. I always cheer up when it starts to snow because I love to play in the snow. I like to build snowmen and have snowball fights with my friends. Another way to have fun in the snow is to go sledding. After a big snow, all you need is a nice steep hill, warm clothes, and something to ride on to go sledding. After playing or working outside in the winter, it is always nice to come back inside to get warm again. Some homes have fireplaces where people light logs on fire to help warm the house. I love reading a good book by the warm fire. In places where it stays really cold in the winter, people also use gas furnaces and electric heaters to help keep the air inside their homes nice and warm. Of course, having a few extra blankets on the bed is always a good idea on those frigid winter nights. Winter is also a time when some people from different religions celebrate holidays. Christmas, a Christian holiday, comes on December 25th. Hanukkah, a Jewish holiday, also falls around this time, as does Kwanzaa, a week-long holiday celebrated by some African Americans. To celebrate these and other holidays in wintertime, Sometimes people string colorful lights around their homes and neighborhoods. You should see Washington, D.C. during the holiday season. All of the lights make it a magical place. New Year's Eve, another important winter holiday, falls on December 31st, which is the last day of the year. This day is called New Year's Eve. January 1st, the day after December 31st, marks the beginning of a new year. January 1st is called New Year's Day. On New Year's Day, many people make resolutions or lists of things they would like to do better in the new year. Luck and good fortune are common themes for the Lunar New Year, also known as Chinese New Year, which is a holiday that falls around the end of January and beginning of February. The color red, thought to be a sign of good fortune and happiness, is the color chosen to wear during the festivities. Homes are decorated with red paper cut into designs, and happy wishes written on red paper are also hung throughout the house. Children often receive red envelopes with money tucked inside. The people who receive these envelopes are also supposed to receive good fortune in the new year. Feasting on fish, pork, poultry, tangerines, oranges, dumplings, and special cakes, families gather to wish each other good luck. There are so many fun things to do during the winter. What's your favorite part of winter? Your friend, Annie.
Wow, winter in Washington, D.C. sounds so different from winter here in Mississippi. I wonder how different the other seasons are from the weather here. Maybe we should keep track of everything we've learned so we can review it with each of Annie's letters.
That's a great idea. Why don't we use the seasons chart?
Okay, boys and girls, let's think of 1 to 3 words that will fit in each of these categories. I will add what you said to our chart. We're going to start with months. What are the months of winter? Great job, scholars. Our months are December, January, and February. Now, let's think. What do we know about the temperature and thermometers during the winter? That's right. It's very cold.
And the liquid in a thermometer is at the bottom because it's a low temperature. I will add that to our chart.
What kinds of clothing might people wear during the winter? I heard you. Coats, gloves, and scarves. People need to dress warmly because the temperature is frigid.
I will add that to our chart.
What are some special activities during the winter?
Oh, that sounds like fun! I will add sledding to our chart as well.
Okay, boys and girls, what are some holidays that occur during the winter?
Oh, I just love those holidays, especially Christmas. I'll add Christmas and New Year's to our chart.
Last one, scholars. What do plants and animals do during the winter? That's right. Some of the animals hibernate and the plants lose all their leaves.
I'd love to nap through wintertime.
Me too.
Let's add that to our chart.
Okay, learners, let's review what we read in our letter from Annie. What was the main topic of Annie's letter? That's right. The main topic was the season of winter.
Very good. Now, Let's think about those special tools for measuring the temperature. When it's cold outside, is the liquid in the thermometer close to the top or close to the bottom? You got it. When it's cold outside, the liquid in the thermometer is close to the bottom.
What happens to rain when the temperature drops below the freezing point? That's right. When the temperature drops below the freezing point, rain may turn to snow or ice.
This one requires some serious brain power. Are you ready? Name some good things and some bad things about lots of snow falling. Some good things about lots of snow falling are that I can play and go sledding in the snow. Some bad things about lots of snow falling are that people need to drive and walk cautiously, and sometimes they can't walk or drive at all.
Wow, I heard your brain's hard at work. Last one, how do you dress for winter? During winter, I wear a hat, a coat, a scarf, and mittens. Scholars, in the read aloud, you heard the sentence, of course, having a few extra blankets on the bed is always a good idea on those frigid winter nights. Say the word frigid with me. Frigid.
Remember, frigid means very cold. For example, my hands were frigid because I was playing outside in the snow without gloves. What word? Yes, frigid. The opposite or antonym of frigid is very hot. If any of the things we describe sound like they are frigid, say, is frigid. If any of the things we describe sound like they are very hot, say, it's very hot.
Our first one is the temperature during a blizzard. That's right. The temperature during a blizzard is frigid.
Our next one is a boiling pot of water. Yes, you got it. A boiling pot of water is very hot.
Here's the next one. Think about the way your nose feels when you are outside in the snow. Very good. The way your nose feels when you are outside in the snow is frigid.
Our next one is fun to think about. What about popsicles in the freezer? Great work! Popsicles in the freezer are frigid.
Way to go, boys and girls. What is the opposite of frigid? That's right. The opposite of frigid is very hot. In what season is it frigid outside? You got it again. In winter, it is frigid outside.
Before we end our lesson for today, let's reflect one more time on everything Annie told us about winter. Remember, most of the United States experiences 4 seasons. So far, we have only learned about winter, the first season in the cycle of seasons. What are the 4 seasons in the cycle? That's right, winter, spring, summer, and autumn.
Here, we have a piece of paper folded into the 4 seasons for each of the 4 seasons. Get your piece of paper ready and fold it in half twice so you have 4 sections. Label your 4 sections like our paper here: winter, spring, summer, and autumn.
Now, draw a winter scene. Miss Ashlee will draw ours. Be sure to include colors, plants, and animals you would see during winter. Also, try to include yourself and what you would be wearing during this season. After you finish your drawing, explain the characteristics of winter you have chosen to draw to an adult. We will be adding the 4 seasons drawing book as we learn about the other seasons.
You can also include a word, phrase, or sentence that describes your drawing. The more details, the better to show what you know.
I have had so much fun today. First, we learned some new vocabulary words to help us understand Annie's letter.
Then we read Annie's letter and learned all about the season of winter, which is the first season in our cycle of seasons.
Next, we added the characteristics of winter to our seasons comparison chart. I can't wait to see it filled with the characteristics of all the seasons.
I'm excited for that too. We also discussed what we learned and answered some comprehension questions about Annie's letter.
Then we learned the opposite of the word frigid, which means what, scholars? That's right, very cold.
We ended by drawing a winter scene, which is the first drawing in our 4 seasons drawing. We will add to it again in our next lesson. Wow, boys and girls, you really worked hard today. Kiss your brains.
Boys and girls, we really enjoyed teaching you all about winter today. We hope to see you again soon to learn more about the 4 seasons through Annie's letters.
Be sure you share what you've learned about 4 seasons with an adult or a trusted friend.
Bye, everyone.
All rights and credits for today's lesson belong to Core Knowledge Language Arts. We would like to thank them for publicly sharing these valuable resources. The views and opinions expressed in this lesson are those of the Core Knowledge authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Mississippi Department of Education. Thank you for joining us today, boys and girls. We will see you next time.